purpose of the project. So you have visited JLF so many times before. How is the experience of JLF this time, and is it somewhat different? Can you please elaborate?
Thank you, Amritesh, for that question. It's wonderful to begin the conversation with a conversation around JLF. Yes, I've been coming here for many years. Um, uh, First, I used to come as a reader in awe of all these authors. Then I started coming as a media person. So I used to be on the other side of the table interviewing authors. That's what I've done for some years. And then after my first book got published, I started coming as a speaker, a moderator, and each year is special. The one thing which still remains common is the feeling of this sense of awe that you have just by the sheer amount of what is being written, the ideas that are being exchanged, the discourses that are happening around creativity, around writing. And there's so much to learn from. So that hasn't changed. I still feel overwhelmed when I come here. Whether I'm on this side of the stage or the other side of the stage. It's a great place to learn. And the one thing that has again remained a constant is the intimacy of this constant exchange, which is not just happening with the co-authors but also with the readers. So it's one platform where readers are really learning about their authors directly, they're seeing them in person, they're getting to hear them, learn from them in person, know them better as a person, as a writer. So yeah, I mean it's really indeed one of the greatest literature festivals on the face of this earth, without any exaggeration.
So you have worked as a journalist, you have worked as a screenwriter, you have also worked as a translator, and now you are also a writer.
Yes.
So how do these things differ? How do your processes in each of these things differ? And does your experience in each of these fields incorporate into your other forms?
That's a very good question. In a way, they're all different formats, and hence you have to learn the craft for each. So, for instance, translating is very different from writing, original writing, whether it's poetry or prose. Short story writing is very different from novel. Screenwriting is a completely different technique. I mean, you really have to learn that grammar. But again, the one thing that happens, which is common between all of them, is that you have to be disciplined. You have to sit down with your work and let the work flow through you, or whatever medium that you're writing. Of course, for translation, your inspiration is the source material. When you're an editor, again, it's the source material somebody else has created. Your job is to structure it, to do it better. When you're a journalist, your job is to observe, to analyze, to also sometimes become an objective observer, and also absorb a lot from what is going on and then present it as is. When you're a short story writer or creative writer, your process is very different. As a screenwriter, you have to collaborate because you're not just writing for yourself, you're also writing for 500 other people, the cast and the crew, your co-writers, your director, your camera person, your actors, who will all go by the roadmap that you've created on the paper for them as a script. So that's the difference. So you just have to be very aware that, okay, where is your inspiration coming from? What is the source material? What is the final objective of what you are writing? And if you have that clarity, then it becomes easy to switch from one format to the other. However, I don't recommend that because it tends to push you into the zone of insanity. So beware.
How do you see the changing scenario of Hindi literature, or do you think it has remained somewhat constant over the years, or do you see a push in recent years?
No, there's been there's so much that's being written in Hindi now. From microfiction to historical fiction to contemporary to young adult to drama to love stories. It has, as a reader, as a reader of the literature, as a student of literature, Hindi literature, I think we're in very exciting times. Look at what we have, like what we have inherited as the legacy, starting from, I mean, I'm not saying from Bharatendu Harishandra's time, but why not? But from Premchand to Agay to Kamleshwar to Yashpal to so many others. So people who were then known as new writers, like the authors of new writing, प्रगतिशील लेखक जिनको कहा करते थे, to now where there is another kind of writing which is called Nai Hindi, which is more bolchal, which is far more closer to especially how it is spoken in the smaller towns. So in that sense, the language in itself has also has adapted to how Hindi is now being, we are engaging with the language. However, the core still remains the same. It is still that language of nostalgia, it is still the language of culture, it is still the language of stories that we have heard from, like other Indian languages. It's just, look at the wealth that we have of many centuries now. Hindi has evolved from starting from Braj to Awadhi to also Dakhini Hindi to Urdu to now also English to some extent. I'm not very Puritan. However, I do feel that we have to stand true to the language. So the languages will actually thrive only if there's literature that's being created in that language. So I hope there's more and more being written in our language, and with the translations that are now really being popular, with a Booker now coming to a translation of a Hindi novel. There are many more to come. So yeah, translations, interlanguage translations, all of that will happen, and Hindi will only flourish. It will only grow, and it will flow like always, like it has always flown.
Tell me something about your reading life. I just asked in Hindi because we get a lot of English recommendations. So please tell me some of the Hindi books that have influenced your writing, and some Hindi books that are just memorable, that are just always there in the back of your mind. Anytime someone asks your favorite.
तो ये एक जो किताब, मतलब एक नॉवल है जो मेरे पास कॉलेज के दिनों से है, शायद उससे वैसे पहले थे, स्कूल के दिनों से, नदी के द्वीप अगे की। एक किताब जो मेरी बहुत पसंदीदा है और मैं बहुत सालों से, बल्कि वो चिथड़े उड़ गए हैं उस किताब के, मैं हर बार उसकी नई कॉपी ख़रीदती हूँ लेकिन हर बार उसके चिथड़े उड़ जाते हैं, नदी के द्वीप अगे की। सिर्फ नॉवल है, वैसे तो उपन्यास है, लेकिन इतना पोएटिक, इतना खूबसूरत, और आप अगर हिंदी में भी पढ़ रहे हो तो आपको नहीं लगेगा कि आप सिर्फ हिंदी में पढ़ रहे हैं। वो अपने आप, वो अलग अलग भाषाओं में, आपको जो भाषा आती है उस भाषा में आपके साथ वो किताब संवाद कर रही होती है। मुझे लगता है 30 या 40 के दशक में लिखी गई थी, 100 साल पहले, तकरीबन 80 साल पहले वो उपन्यास लिखा गया था, लेकिन आज भी उतना ही प्रासंगिक है, जो प्रेम कहानी है, जो किरदार हैं। वो मेरी पसंदीदा किताबों में से है, उपन्यास है। इसके अलावा आधा गांव राही मासूम रज़ा का मुझे बहुत पसंद है, शायद इसलिए भी क्योंकि मैं भी एक गांव से हूँ, और जो शहर तक का हम सफ़र, शहर और उसके बाद फिर महानगर तक का हम सफ़र तय करते हैं, और उसमें जो खोते हैं, जो हासिल करते हैं, गांव में जो छूट जाता है, गांव में जो देखा होता है, शायद उससे एक बहुत गहरा रिश्ता है और जिया है उसको, इसलिए भी। और उन रज़ा साहब के लेखन के बारे में तो क्या ही कहना। इसके अलावा मैं बार इस्मत चुगताई की कहानियों की तरफ लौटती हूँ। मैं मजाक में कई बार ये कहती भी हूँ कि मैं बड़ी होकर इस्मत चुगताई बनना चाहती हूँ। सो दैट्स माय ड्रीम। सो ये मेरे पसंदीदा लेखक हैं जिनसे काफ़ी कुछ सीखने को मिला है, जिनको पढ़कर लगता है, याद आता है हमेशा। मैं अभी आपकी टीम की श्रीविद्या से कह रही थी कि हम लिखते इसलिए हैं, वी राइट टू रिमेंबर, जो चीज़ें हम भूल जाते हैं ना।
रिमेंबर लुकिंग फॉर इट, बट अगर नहीं मिलता तो
सॉरी। सो इसके अलावा बहुत सारे कमाल के लेखक हैं, लेखिकाएं हैं जो बहुत अच्छा लिख रही हैं। उनमें से कई मेरे पसंदीदा लोग यहाँ हैं। अनुकृति उपाध्याय का काम मुझे बहुत पसंद है, अंग्रेज़ी में भी और हिंदी में भी। प्रत्यक्षा हैं जो कमाल का गद्य लिखती हैं, कमाल की कविताएं लिखती हैं। कुछ गीत चतुर्वेदी मेरे बहुत पसंदीदा कहानीकार हैं, कवि हैं। बाबूशाह कोहली मेरी बहुत पसंदीदा कवि हैं। प्रियदर्शन की कहानियाँ मुझे बहुत पसंद हैं। तो हमारे वक्त में भी बहुत कमाल का लिखा जा रहा है हमारी भाषा में। जब तक हम, और मैं हमेशा ये बात कहती हूँ कि जब तक हम बहुत शिद्दत से पढ़ेंगे नहीं, तब तक हम थोड़ा सा भी लिखने के करीब जा नहीं पाएंगे. तो पढ़ना है, लिखना है.
Last question. What are you reading right now, and what are your going to be what are you working on right now, writing and other projects?
इंग्लिश और हिंदी, हाउ डू
Any way would work.
सो मैं अलग अलग फॉर्मेट्स में काम करती हूँ, अलग अलग चीज़ों पर इसलिए काम कर रही हूँ. तो जो what am I reading was your question. So I'm currently actually I like reread Lata Surgatha only because I had a session here. But before that I was actually reading a short story collection by Priyadarshan. It's called Hatyara or Anya Kahaniyan. It's a collection of contemporary stories, and Priyadarshan is one of my favorite authors. So that's what I was reading. Other than that, what else am I reading? I was also reading, just before I came, I was reading Sharanya Mahadevan's Desperately Seeking Shahrukh. So that is also something that I was reading just before I came here. As for writing projects, I am in the middle of developing a mythos show for an OTT platform. I have finished a series of 2 films, the Hindi adaptation of the Malayalam masterpiece, The Great Indian Kitchen, hopefully which will release this year. And there's another film called Happy Teacher's Day, which I have co-written with another outstanding screenwriter. So that film will also release. I've done additional dialogues for Arya 3, so that will also release this year. And other than that, I'm working on some of my short stories, which hopefully should get published by the end of this year.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this.
Thank you.
Amazing talking to you.